I've been on holiday with my wife. I hate my bloody wife, a bastard. And she said, I'm going to take a skunk home. I said, you'll never get a skunk in the country. You got to smuggle it in. I said, how are you going to get a skunk in the bloody country? The custom will stop you. She said, I'll stuff it down my knickers. I said, what about the smell? I said, well, you'll get used to that. He will. He'll get used to it. But that bloody Berthy, he come home, he went out and bought a new pair of boots, and his missus, she's a miserable bastard, that woman is. He put these boots on, and he sit cross-legged on the seat. She miserable cow, she wouldn't even remark on his new boot. He done every bloody thing, and she seen him, a bloody cow. She wouldn't say, Denzil, you got a nice new pair of boots. He said, I'll make her a bloody note of them. And he went to bed and he took off everything but his boots. And when he came in, he said, Mildred, do you see anything different about me? No, she said, same skinny old ribs. And your old dickie hanging down there. He said, Mildred, that's pointing at my new boots. She said, what a pity you didn't buy a new hat. You see, when he was fishing down Newland, he was on the fishing boats down Newland, and his wife went in, because they've been trying to have a baby, and he hadn't been working, and she went in for a test on the Wednesday. Well, Friday, Denzil went in for the result on the way fishing. And he went in and he said, what's the result? He said, well, I can tell you, Mr. Bimberthy, he said, your wife has got an inadequate passage, and if she has a baby, it'll be a miracle. Oh. And they said, I got to get this right. He said, she got an inadequate passage, and if she have a baby, it'll be a miracle. He said, I'll tell her when I get home. Well, he went fishing 15 hours. Then he come back and went on the piss for about 6. And he got home pissed as a bloody mattress. And she said, well, what did the doctor say about the baby? I said, I'll tell you what he said. He said, you got an attic in your passage. And if you have a baby, it'll be a mackerel. But I know, when I always remember that my first girlfriend, I've been meaning to take her home for months, and we had the pony and jingle outside the chapel, and I arranged to take her home after chapel. Christ. And I got in the jingle, and she crossed her legs. I thought, well, that's that idea up the chute anyway. Well, you don't know what to say, do you, Richard? I've gone on for miles. I didn't know what to say. You get so bloody embarrassed. Going on clip-clop for bloody miles, and then the horse lift his tail and let out the wettest fart I said, my dear, I don't know what to say. I've never been so embarrassed in my life. I don't know what to say. She said, well, don't worry, because I thought the horse done it anyway. He said to me, he said, Jethro, I want to buy your Grayhound. I said, I want 25 quid. He said, I'll give you 25 quid now. I said, I don't want to sell him. He's too good. But he said, if you do ever want to sell a Grayhound, he said, I'll give you 25 quid. I said, all right, if I sell it, you shall have it. I got up next morning, the bugger's dead. Shit. So I ring Denzil. I said, do you want that Grayhound? He said, I do. I said, I'll send it over. I never heard a word. And I seen him last Friday down the Grayhound meeting. Hey, he said, you bastard. He said, you sent me that Grayhound. He said, the bugger was dead. And he said, you know the blood thing was dead. I said, I only done it for a joke. I said, only a bit of fun. I'll give you your money back. He said, I don't want your money back. He said, I made a profit on it anyway. I said, how you managed that? Well, he said, I raffled it. 100 tickets at £5 a ticket. Christ. I said, didn't anybody complain? He said, the winner did, so I give him his money back. From Berthy, he'd had trouble with piles. And they gave him this tablet, and they said, put these in your back passage in the morning. And he went to see the doctor yesterday, he said, a waste of time. They bloody tablets, he said, I put them in the back passage, he said, I put them in the front passage. He said, for the good of done, I might as well stuff them up my ass. But he come home pissed, and when he got home, it's a black man in the bed with his missus, a black man, Christ. Well, Denzil jumped in with, and then he looked down the bottom, he said, Milders, he said, there's 6 feet sticking out the bottom of that bed. She said, no, you're pissed again. She said, get out and count them. And he got out, he said, Mildred, you're right, there is only 4. He said, I must... He said, I must wash my feet, they're bloody filthy. But he went in a shop in Plymouth, in the woman's shop, and the man, he said, you shouldn't be in the shop. He said, we only sell women's things. He said, well, I'll have 4. But when he went to Germany, he got picked up with a prostitute in Germany, dirty bastard. And he went out in the morning without paying. She said, what about the marks? He said, 9 out of 10. Well, when he was up in London, he got mixed up with a woman up there. Christ. And he said, well, I'm near Piccadilly Circus. He said, what's all these flashing lights? She said, well, you're near Piccadilly Circus. It's all the neon signs, Vimto and Pepsi and Christ. Oh, yeah. Well, he had a good time, but fortnight ago, he's home ploughing the field, and the man stopped. He said, are you Mr. Pemberthy? He said, huh? He said, was you in London a fortnight ago and slept with a woman? He said, well, he said, you did, and he said, you've seen a lot of flashing lights, and the woman said, you're near Piccadilly. He said, yeah. Well, he said, that wasn't Piccadilly. He said, that was flashes from my camera. He said, you were sleeping with my wife. He said, and what do you think of that lot? Well, Denzil said, seeing as you've come so far, he said, I have 3 postcards and 2 families now. Last Christmas, he took a job in Tesco's as Father Christmas. He's short of money and he don't like kids too much, but he's in Tesco's as Father Christmas. And the young girl come and sit on his knee, and he said, what do you want for Christmas, dear? She said, I want some hairs on me Fanny. He said, would a grey beard be any good? When Denzil got married, he got married on the building site, and we said to Denzil, are you having sex every day? Oh, he said, every day. He said, have you tried a little bit up the other hole? Croto. He said, I couldn't do that. She's the vicar's daughter. He said, I said, well, could try. You've been married 2 years now. Ask her if you can try the other hole. He said, I daren't. I said, go on, you've been married. She can only say no. Well, he said, I will. I'll ask her tonight. As you've been giving one every day for 2 years, time for a bit of change. He said, I'll ask her tonight. He come in next morning. I said, did you ask her if you tried the other hole? He said, well, I did ask her, but she said we can't afford children yet.